Hey ladies and gentlemen, Steven here from Redolessence and welcome back to another video. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really do appreciate it. I hope this video finds you well and Happy New Year, of course. I hope 2021 is happy and calm and prosperous and successful for you, and I wish you all the best. In today's episode, we're going to be taking a closer look at a fragrance by the company Habibi, and this one is called Sahara Rose, so make sure to stay tuned. Before I begin my fragrance review of Sahara Rose by Habibi, I do want to mention that if you are a fan of fragrance-related content, if you like fragrance reviews just like this here on YouTube, but also top 10 videos, giveaways, unboxings, special guests, interviews, and pretty much anything having to do with fragrances, please do consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and of course, while you're at it, please be sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell icon. This way, whenever I do put out these videos, they will get delivered straight to your feed. You never need to worry about missing any of my future uploads. So this is a brand that, of course, I discovered several years ago. I own many of their fragrances, and I do find them to be very good quality at a very affordable price point. I also met the brand owner and creative director a few years ago at a Sniffapalooza in New York City. Very down-to-earth guy, very genuine and kind person. And of course, here we have one of the newest releases which came out in 2020, and this one is called Sahara Rose. They've actually had two rose offerings in 2020 and also a lavender-based fragrance, which I actually featured on my channel a few times. If I find a video that I did with Oya where we discuss this lavender-based fragrance, I'm going to leave a card for it up here if you are interested in checking it out, or just in case you happen to miss the video. But here we have a rose offering that has a very clean rose. It has this lemony introduction. It has some spices in the base. There's amber, there's oud. It's a very complex formula and one that I'm excited to speak about, but let's go ahead and start things off with the presentation. So the presentation for this one is definitely worth showing because it's such an incredible presentation. You have this pattern here on the side, the name of the fragrance and the company here in the front, and this is Eau de Parfum strength, 75 ml is the size. And as you can tell, this is a sleeve that comes off. So you have this intricate pattern and intricate design on the box. You have all of the ingredients listed on the back for your convenience, which I think is a beautiful touch. And then here you actually have the box, the inner box, if you will, the Habibi logo here at the top. You have this beautiful design here in the middle. And then, of course, it opens up just like this with this gold podium in which the bottle rests. Very nice attention to detail. On the back, you have that same information. And here is the bottle for this one. Really nice silhouette. I know it has a bit of a feminine silhouette, if you will, but it's completely unisex. Take my word for it. And I like this gradient that goes from dark red at the top to clear at the bottom. You have the Habibi logo engraved into the cap. The cap is a snug fit, so you can pick it up from the cap. And the distribution on the atomizer is very powerful and very wide as well. Let's continue with the smell. So the first thing that I can say about this fragrance is that it's a very complex formula. Very multi-dimensional, very multifaceted, and it seems to go in a few different directions. Now, at the heart of the composition sits the note of rose. So this is a rose-dominant fragrance, but I think what really makes this stand apart from other rose offerings on the market is the fact that it has a certain freshness in the opening. So you have this apple note, you have mandarin, you have bergamot, you have lemon, you have this explosion of citrus fruits in the opening. And then in the heart, you also have some other clean white florals that accompany this fragrance. But deep in the base, you have amber, you have oud, you have spices, you have saffron, you have the creaminess of sandalwood. So you have all of these dense and really interesting ingredients in the base that seem to serve as a direct contradiction and juxtaposition to that clean sort of a rose note that you're going to get in the opening. Now, I got to be honest with you, the one spicy ingredient that really does peek its head through, even in the opening, is the note of saffron. And perhaps I'm a little bit more privy to the use of the note of saffron, or maybe my sense of smell is a bit more acute and I can pick up on it because I've made this association with saffron and a leather accord. And so while it's a very clean sort of a rose note that's used in here, it also has this leathery nuance about it. So imagine this very bright, happy and convivial lemony introduction with this clean and smooth rose that is not fragile or delicate or anything like that, but just has a certain smoothness about it. But it also has this leathery nuance that is added to the composition because of saffron. And so it's spicy, it's a little leathery, it's clean, it's smooth, it's not delicate. It has this warmth underneath it all. So it kind of has like the sweetness in the base, which is not overpowering whatsoever, not a gourmand by any stretch of the imagination. This is probably more along the lines of like a floral oriental. And so you are going to get most of that rose, which of course is the namesake of the perfume. And then Sahara kind of connotes this use of an abundance of spices and these exotic ingredients, many of which can be found in the East, or in the Middle East, I should say. And so you have the agarwood and you have these other ingredients resting in the base that really shape and define the personality of this fragrance. So this is a very easygoing rose fragrance. If you are a fan of Rose Prick by Tom Ford, and you kind of like the spiciness of Rose Prick, that thorny aspect, if you will, but you want something much brighter, much fresher, with more of an emphasis on the citrus, I think you're really going to like Sahara Rose. Again, very different fragrance, very unique rose. I can't quite compare it to any other rose fragrance. All I can say is that if you do like Rose Prick, just imagine something a little bit fresher, a little bit brighter, more of an accent on the citrus, and then that will bring you to Sahara Rose. Ultimately, very easy to wear, very easy to pull off. I think it's going to be a rose for rose lovers. If you're a fan of the note in general, I think it's definitely one that you need to have in your collection. Is it as bright, if you will, as Lyric Man, or as organic smelling, for lack of a better word? Probably not. Is it as dark as Rose Prick? No. Is it as dark as like Oud Luxuria by Navitus Parfums? Not necessarily, but this one has its own personality. It has the freshness, it has that clean nature about it, and it has that exotic marriage of, Southwest Asian and Middle Eastern ingredients in the base, which I think are incredible. So I'm really enjoying this one. Very solid rose-based fragrance and a solid release from the brand nevertheless. Let's go ahead and finish things off with my overall assessment. So first up, in terms of the uniqueness and the overall smell, this is a very unique fragrance, despite the comparison I made to Rose Prick. That was just a frame of reference to try to get you to understand what this fragrance smells like a little bit better, especially if you have a level of familiarity with Rose Prick. It could kind of give you an idea of what this fragrance smells like, but really unique, really solid for a rose-based fragrance, and one that is very easy to wear, very agreeable on the skin. So the overall smell, very pleasant. Longevity on this one is about 8 hours on your skin, because it does have a lot of these base-heavy ingredients. I believe they're even listed on the back of the box. So you have dark musks, amber, patchouli, saffron, vanilla, blonde sandalwood, oud accord. So there's a lot going on in here, and that's going to prove itself by lasting a long time on the skin. Projection is great for the first hour and a half of application. It didn't start to sit closer to the skin until about that 6-hour mark. Versatility on this one is also very good. I think this one is a year-round fragrance. Whenever I think of floral ingredients like rose and violet and jasmine, I typically think of spring, but I think this one can be worn all year round because of the darker ingredients that allow you to pull this off in the colder weather. But I think because of that bright freshness in the opening with the lemon and the orange and the bergamot, that allows this fragrance to be worn in the hotter weather as well. It's affordable enough that you can wear it casually, but it also has a sophisticated aroma about it that you can wear it dressed up, especially when you want to dress to impress. I think in terms of the presentation, it's gorgeous. I like this outer sleeve, and I do like this presentation on the inside with the little podium at the bottom in which the bottle rests. My final verdict on Sahara Rose is, if you're a fan of some of the brighter and fresher iterations of rose, this is definitely one to put on your radar, especially if you're a fan of the note of saffron and you don't mind that leathery aspect that it can sort of produce in many fragrances. So there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in. That was my review of Sahara Rose by Habibi. What has been your experience with this brand, or what are some of your favorite rose-based perfumes? I'm always interested in starting a discussion, so leave a comment down below. I always love to read what you have to say. Once again, if you are new to this channel and you took something of value from this video, I would really appreciate it if you would consider supporting this channel by subscribing to it. All you have to do is click on that red button in the corner, and of course, while you're at it, please make sure to enable notifications by clicking on the bell. Thanks again for watching. I love you all. Happy New Year, and we'll see you very soon.